Hi, and welcome back to my YouTube channel, Cat the Romantic. Today, I want to talk about my favorite side characters from Netflix's TV show, Shadow and Bone. Because I'm here to talk about side characters and not our lovely main protagonists, I'm going to be excluding the 6 main characters. The side characters are just one of the many things that I really appreciate about this show, and I really enjoyed spending time with these characters, even if they had pretty limited screen time. The whole purpose of this video is that I wanted to give some of the wonderful side characters in this show a chance to shine, and let you know why I love them so much. Okay, so this one is a character that really only shows up in like one scene for a couple of moments, but this scene also made me laugh, and I really enjoyed the brief amount of time this character's on screen, and that's the unnamed food taster.
And you have an odd Kazatia taster.
In this one episode. I know there's more characters I could be talking about, but I just love this character and I love this joke, and for some reason I just really enjoyed the way that this guy played it and tried really hard despite the fact that he only got to be in one scene.
Delicious. You'll be happy with the meal if, I survive.
That's literally it. I thought he was a funny character. Another character I just relished seeing on screen was Bagra.
Are you going to punch your way through the shadow fold? Where's the rest of you?
Played by Zoe Wanamaker, who is a legend, by the way. We stan Madame Hooch. She was pretty much exactly how I envisioned Bagra, as this kind of like crotchety old woman who also has like a lot of vitality and aggression to her.
You're not sleeping enough.
I greatly enjoyed a lot of the scenes that she was in, and she played the character of Bagra really well as this sort of like honestly kind of horrible human being who has a little bit of complexity and underlying depth to her. Zoe Wanamaker plays it really well in that you're not entirely sure whether you should be able to trust Bagra, which is, I think, a really essential part of the character, especially down the line. And overall, I thought this character was a bunch of fun.
Zoya, I'm a scholar.
I really did not enjoy Zoya for most of the first part of the trilogy, which I think was definitely the intention when Lee was writing her, and I'm really happy that the show gave her more development. Sujaya Dasgupta, who plays the character, does a really great job, and I think she plays Zoya as a really well-realized character. She just kind of like pulls it off and looks fantastic while doing it.
Friend also liked it when I put him on his back.
We really need to see more Zoya going forwards, and I'm really interested to see her arc. I haven't quite started Rule of Wolves and King of Scars yet, but I've heard that she's really great in that and plays a really prominent role, and I can't wait to fall in love with her. But I really enjoyed her presence in this show, and I hope that we get to see a lot more of her along the way and get to see her character developed from a very unlikable one to a character with a little bit more complexity. Another one of my favorite characters in this show was David.
This is David Kostic, expert resident fabricator. He created the blue light we use for crossing the fault.
So David is a really interesting character in that he has like a larger role later in the series, and I really hope to see a lot more of him. David only shows up very briefly, but Luke Pasqualino, who plays him, is really attractive, first of all, and secondly, plays him in a really fun way.
You don't need to put... Yes, David.
Another one of my favorites who has a bigger role in the rest of the series and who is very beloved by the fandom is the character of Zhenya.
I am a tailor. I can fix, but I can also modify.
Zhenya is such an interesting character. Unfortunately, based on how the writers chose to condense down the plot of the book, we didn't get to spend as much time with Zhenya or her beloved David, but I really enjoyed the time we had with this character, and I thought she was played really, really well by Daisy Head. There's one scene in episode 7 where she's revealing a lot of her motives and past to Alina, and it makes me want to choke up the way that that character was played. So please, please more Zhenya in future seasons. But the interactions we did have between Zhenya and David in this were just so adorable.
See you at the Fade.
I shook them so hard. Next up is one of the original characters that not a lot of people are talking about, but I thought was really well done, and that's Arkin Visser, the conductor.
That's fine. That was my idea to keep people away. Can't be too careful. You're fine.
Arkin was played by actor Howard Charles, and I thought he did a really, really good job of playing this fun and kind of duplicitous character. I really enjoyed the kind of intrigue that the conductor storyline added to the story. He seemed to bounce and gel really well with the crows. And when he makes his first appearance, he seems to be kind of this normal guy, and then it's implied that he has a darker underside, but you're not entirely sure about that. And then as the plot goes on, you slowly see small signs of duplicity, and it ends up paying off in a really satisfying way in episode 5. But overall, I thought the conductor was a really fascinating original character that the show introduced, because it adds a little bit of texture to the world, and I really enjoyed the fact that he was this kind of like mad scientist engineer guy.
Grab the goat. I'm not throwing out the goat. Grab the damn goat. It's not bait. It's for you. I need you to calm down. Hug the goat. Shut the hell up.
So I really, really enjoyed the addition of this character, and I thought they had a lot of fun with it. I enjoyed a lot of the things he was involved in, and I also enjoyed the kind of darker and more slippery aspects to the character. Some of my favorite side characters that completely took me by surprise were Mal's two friends and complete dorks, Mikhail and Dubrov.
It's because you're a child in a bigger child's body. You're shorter than I am.
Alright, okay. Dubrov, Mikhail, this is Elena.
Played by actors Andy Burse and Angus Castle-Doughty, respectively. Even in their short period of time on screen, these two were absolutely infectious. You can tell the sheer amount of camaraderie these two have on screen, as well as the really great relationship they seem to have with Archie Renault's Mal.
Is that annoying you?
I enjoyed seeing how invested the actors were in these two characters, and they were an absolutely hilarious double act. I found myself watching them in the background in scenes that were supposed to be about Mal and Alina, just because they were so entertaining to watch.
It's dry.
I want half your cup.
In the books, these characters didn't make much of an impression, and the impression that they made wasn't super great. Mikhail in the books was kind of a bully character. He was this giant red-haired guy, and Dubrov was kind of this smaller, snappier guy. And neither of them were particularly endearing. There's even a scene where one of them sexually harasses Alina in the books. I'm glad that they didn't include that. We don't need more sexual harassment on the screen. Thank you very much. I was able to find some great interviews with both of the actors about how they tried to bring these characters to life, and they also talked a lot about some scenes that were cut with their characters that I would have loved to see. I wish we would get to see more of them, but for those of you who watched season 1, you know that unfortunately, unless there's any prequel material, these two are sadly not going to be in the picture for season 2. In the time that they were there, I really, really enjoyed their presence on the show, and I thought they were a lot of fun to watch. Next up is another dynamic duo, Ivan and Fedor.
This is Fedor. Pleasure to meet you.
So in the books, these two characters were also not super prominent. Ivan was characterized very much the same in the books as he is in the show. He's kind of this, brooding guy that, explains some details of the world to Alina and just kind of comes across as just a total a-hole.
Why are you here eating figs?
A lot of that was preserved in actor Simon Sears' performance of the character, but the addition and expansion of Fedyor's role was something that made these two super enjoyable. In the original book series, Fedyor kind of shows up at the start of book 1 and shows up a little bit in later entries, but doesn't really have a huge role. I really appreciated Julian Kostov's interpretation of this character and also how they expanded Fedyor's role in the series. He shows up a lot more in the plot, and we also get to see more dimensions to his character.
He's changed. They don't change.
I really love these two together. We've got the brooding and serious and mean Ivan, and then we've just got Ball of Sunshine Fedyor. And the fact that in the show they are canonically dating is just amazing. They basically invented this ship out of nothing, and I am here for it. Watching these two in background scenes or seeing them make comments about their significant others is a lot of fun. And to be honest, even though Ivan is definitely an asshole, I really, really want to see more of this relationship in the future, if that's even possible, knowing some of the stuff that goes down in episode 8. Overall, I greatly enjoyed these two characters, and I never thought I would actually enjoy Ivan. But with Ivan and Fedyor together, they are just so unbelievably adorable. I want this to be a thing. Please keep this as a thing, Netflix. Find a way to make my Fiven ship last. I just want to see these two in more things, please. Two other characters who were side characters in this show, even though they become a lot more prominent later on, were Nina and Matthias.
So there is a brain inside all that muscle.
We did get to see quite a bit of them since they were kind of the third plot going on in the show in this season, but I really want to see more of them going forwards. I feel like I could listen to Nina's one-liners all day long. And I really, really enjoyed Danielle Galligan's performance. I thought she was exactly how I pictured in terms of sassiness and strength and just being a really fun character to watch. I really enjoyed Callahan Skogman's performance of Matthias. He looks the part for Matthias.
I don't need to. It's how Jel intends it.
I can't wait till you get trounced by a girl.
I really enjoyed the parts of the plot that these two characters were in, and I loved a bunch of scenes where they were kind of bouncing off one another, like really, really serious Matthias to kind of bubbly and sassy Nina.
Stop it.
No, this is strenuous work.
Quit it.
It's working. The mighty Fjorden has fallen.
It did kind of break my heart how this subplot ended up ending, but you know, it's necessary to get to Six of Crows, so I'm here for it. And finally, last but certainly not least, we have the king of side characters. You probably know who it is already because I haven't mentioned them, Milo the goat.
And, a goat.
So Milo the goat was played by two adorable Hungarian goats called Ugri and Bugri, which apparently means running and jumping in Hungarian. And the castmates have some amazing stories about these two goats. I'm pretty sure it was Kit Young, Jesper's actor, who said that they probably should have been named Screaming and because apparently one of them pretended to crap all over set and the other one was screaming in a bunch of scenes and they shouldn't have been screaming. And I can imagine that that sort of thing was probably going on the entire time. Netflix, we need an extended blooper reel of all of the goat outtakes. Thank you very much. We need to give Ugri and Bugri our love. You're definitely the cutest cast member. I'm sorry, Kaz. Unfortunately, you're not nearly as cuddly as Milo is. But I really love how this character was written and integrated and was actually, in a kind of roundabout way, central to the plot.
Come on. Yes. Oh, you're beautiful, aren't you? Yes.
So what did you think of my top side characters list. Is there any side characters that you really enjoyed that I missed? Did I get it right when I said that Milo was the best side character? If you say otherwise, you're wrong. But still, let me know in the comments. What was your favorite scene involving one of these characters? And who do you want to see more of in season 2? The YouTube algorithm sucks, so please like and comment so I can keep making videos like this. And please let me know if you enjoyed it or not, or tell me that I suck. Whatever you do to drive engagement, I'm happy with.
On a ship full of people who want us dead, surrounded by monsters who want us in their gut, it's hard for you to put Milo.
Who's Milo?
The goat.